Welcome to TyTy Takeaways. This is Titus Smith. He's our youngest son. He's the fourth boy. How do you like having three brothers?
Pretty good. It's kind of hard.
What's hard about it?
Well, they don't really play too much.
Yeah. You wanted them to play with you today?
Yeah.
And they didn't play? I'm sorry. Well, what's your favorite thing to play?
Mostly on the trampoline and inside the pool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, somebody said you were swimming good yesterday. You went to 2 different pool parties. Okay, tell Michael Brooks and Shannon Sledge and whoever else, comment below if you eat deer meat or venison. Titus, tell all the people what kind of deer meat you ate today.
Cube steak. Cube steak.
Cube steak with
Gravy.
With gravy that I actually cooked. Did you like it?
Yes.
Yes! It only took me 20 years to figure out how to cook cube steak and make it tender and taste good. So, I want to ask you about Sunday school. What about Sunday school?
It's pretty good.
You're in the pre-K and kindergarten class. So, who's your Sunday school teacher?
Sometimes Miss Corey and Miss Carrie and Miss Kayla.
Yep.
And Miss Lisa.
That's a lot of K's. Corey, Carrie, and Kayla. Yes.
And Carrie.
Carrie, Corey, Kayla. That's a tongue twister. Well, what's been your favorite thing you did this summer?
I think it was PE camp.
He went to PE camp, yes. Y'all had some inflatable slides and things like that. And you're going into what grade?
Kindergarten.
You're going into kindergarten. We got you a backpack and a lunchbox, and they match. Tell us about what your backpack looks like.
It has sports stuff on it all over it, and then it has a little orange pocket.
Yep. Well, do you have anything else you want to share? I know sometimes you at home when we're having our family prayer time or devotion, he'll just say something and it'll be like he's preaching. It'll be like a word from the Lord from a 5-year-old. Do you have a word? I know we didn't plan this. John's about to hop on. John's right here. But Titus was just chilling with me before John came. But anyway, so we didn't prepare for this. Titus is just ad-libbing here with me. You're doing a great job, by the way. Give me 5. Do you have anything you want to tell him about God or about serving God?
Not too much.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming. Can Dad sit down now? Trade you out for Dad.
All right, that's a hard co-host to follow. Hey, welcome to TyTy Takeaways.
Welcome.
Yes, and so Titus did good. Hey, if any of y'all have a 5-year-old granddaughter out there, Titus would love to find out who they are and get to know them a little bit. All right. And so I'm just being funny. So how has your day been? It has been a good day, busy day.
Yes.
It's been a very busy day for me.
Yes.
And so we still got a lot to do tonight, right? We got a lot going on today. So these are summer days, but they've been busy days around here. A lot of great things are happening. Even right now as we're talking, there's some work going on in the upstairs behind the sanctuary right now because we're getting ready for the kickoff of our new Sunday school year, September 1st. And we're adding several new classes. Some classes will be shifting location. Some classes have a different look to them. So there's a lot of things going on right now at the church. And
basically, starting, when did you say? September 1st?
September 1st.
But basically for any of you parents out there who have children from pre-K up to 6th grade, what is happening basically is dividing up the age groups. So it'll be pre-K and kindergarten in one class. Then it'll be 1st and 2nd graders in a class. Then it'll be 3rd and 4th graders in a class. and then 5th and 6th graders in a class. So if you're a parent, be looking for announcements and things about, which class your age group of child will go to, after school starts. I know school starts soon for some people, but this will be a little bit after school starts, and so they're doing some light updates upstairs to the kids, to a few of the kids' rooms. So that's really exciting. Actually, Titus just asked me if he could go help Jamie up there, and I was talking about how probably not with that, but I think he has helped us paint and stuff like that before. But as far as announcements go, like for this week, there's the youth group is going to Lake Blackshear this Saturday,
yes.
August 3rd. So it's see Brother Joel about that, about any details about the youth lake trip this Saturday. Thanks to Ty and Maria for hosting the Youth Afterglow
yes.
last night. And what Joel shared at the Afterglow was that one of the youth had gotten saved like during lunchtime yesterday, and then of course we had someone get saved Sunday night, and then a few days before that in John's office somebody got saved, and that's 3 people this past week, 3 precious souls that have just, God is moving again.
Yeah.
Like, that's the most important announcement, is souls being saved. That's what it's all about.
Is that a song that says hell lost another one?
I
I've
don't
heard
know.
that phrase somewhere.
I don't know.
Well,
Clue,
if
but
it-
that's something we can have looked up.
That's right. So anyway.
That might be, that might be.
Yeah, I've heard that somewhere. So anyway, that's great. That's exciting.
So we're going to try to make this one shorter tonight. We'll see, but that's the only announcement we've got, other than, of course,
And there's a quick cast before this. I don't know if that.
Yeah, there's
it's
Yeah.
about a funeral.
Yeah, so Miss Eileen Heyman, I believe she's one of our oldest members. She, 96 years old, she went home to be with Jesus yesterday.
96, that is amazing.
And so her arrangements and all are going to be
Wednesday night visitation,
yeah. And
Thursday.
then Thursday funeral at 11. So
and the funeral will be at this church at TyTy, 11 o'clock. You can bring food, and they'll eat, and the family will eat after the funeral. So our condolences for sure. Pray for that family. It's never easy, no matter how old you are. It's never easy to lose a loved one.
yeah,
so,
that's right.
I will, going back to that phrase, it is a lyric to a song by Maverick City.
Oh, okay.
Maverick City, Hell
I
Lost
Thank
Another
God is
One.
the name of the song.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I think Titus knows that song.
What's it
I
called?
Thank God. It's like Hell Lost Another One. Something,
okay.
something, something.
Yeah, that's
I
the
am
Titus
free, I am
sings it,
free, I am
yeah.
free is
We
the
sing
next.
that sometimes.
You know that song, Titus?
So Sunday morning
Still,
was
we're
on
moving
Be
way
the
too much.
Light.
Yes.
Be the Light.
We're doing a series still in 1 Peter. We're in 1 Peter still.
Okay,
And we have been there for a long time now, it seems like, and we're just doing a couple verses at a time. So 1 Peter chapter number 2 is where we're at.
Verses 11 and 12.
Yeah.
It matters how we live. Religion can't do what Jesus does for me. I liked that quote that you shared. Religion can't do what Jesus does for me. And you talked about that word abstain, what that means, because the verse said abstain from fleshly lusts which war against our soul. You said abstain means don't do it.
Yeah.
Now I was like, oh, that's pretty simple. But you said not only does it matter how we live, but it matters how we live in private.
Yeah. And so he talks about abstain from fleshly lust, abstain from sin that wars against the soul. That's the secret place. That's the private place. Sin in secret fights against the soul. And he says, I beg you, don't sin. Don't sin. And so that deals with our walk.
So, I think he's begging us not to sin because he knows that sin leads to death, and sin leads to consequences, and sin leads to heartache and grievance and just turmoil and nothing good. You said saying yes to Jesus and no to sin.
Saying yes to Jesus is saying no to sin.
Okay. Before salvation, you dated sin. You kind of gave that illustration. Tell sin to lose your phone number and address.
Yeah. But you know, it's kind of like, but you know, we were in union with sin, and now we're in union with righteousness and Jesus. So, yeah, I was talking about how when you get saved, it changes your relationship with sin. You know, you were married to sin. Sin was living in your life. You were living in sin. Then when you get saved, you're living in righteousness, and righteousness is living in us. And so our relationship with sin changes when we get saved. It should change. You know,
it should.
We shouldn't two-time Jesus, you know.
And if you can sin like consistently and never be convicted, you might want to check your salvation, right? Because part of being saved is being convicted when we sin, right? I mean, that's not like in every single time, you know, because you can sin so many times. You have a hardened heart to where you can't really feel, you've lost your sensitivity to sin, and I feel like.
And then there's a sanctification process where, I mean, all of us have sins in our life that we may not even be aware of, you know, and God deals with those as we grow, as we get in the Word, as we gain more light and knowledge. And
That's true.
And there's Peter is begging us to live righteous. There's a plea to walk worthy of the Lord here. That's what's happening. Peter is begging the church to not be living in sin, you know. And there's a difference between sinning and living in sin. There's a difference. Like, we all sin. We all make mistakes. We all lose our temper and maybe hurt someone that maybe with our words. But there's a difference between living in sin, habitually embracing sin, and falling into sin. So I would say it this way: diving into sin is different than falling into sin.
Yeah. Definitely don't go head first into sin.
Yeah.
So you talked about be the light through our walk, how we live. Be the light through our witness.
And this is our public life. So he says in verse 12 that we should have honorable conduct in front of the lost world. So verse 11 deals with our private life. Then he moves into our public life. That, you know, every Christian has a private and public life, and they should match.
I will say we got Webb Brown said we are the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus when we are saved.
Amen. That's right.
That's true.
Which kind of goes in hand with what you were saying.
2 Corinthians 5:20 refers to that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, however we live privately comes out publicly.
Eventually.
What's in the heart comes out in the way we live our lives. So.
You said if you don't beat sin privately, you won't have honorable conduct publicly.
That's right.
The lost have a front row seat to our life. They're watching.
Yeah.
It's not just about getting fire insurance. It's about how we live in private and in public. You said I'm never on vacation from acting like a Christian.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. There's never a time that we're off duty as a believer.
Love is. So then you talked about love there for a minute.
So I talked about two principles in the Bible that help us have honorable conduct: the Great Commandment and the Golden Rule. And so the Great Commandment is to love the Lord and to love others as yourself, right? That's the Great Commandment. All the law and the prophets hang on these. So when you're loving God and loving others, that's one way to have honorable conduct. And
that's our church's mission statement, I think.
Yes.
Because I see
yes, it is.
It's written in here.
Loving God, loving people, making disciples. That's our mission. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're trying to pursue in everything that we do. And it's not just words, though. Like, love, love is...
it has to show action.
Yeah, it shows an action, and Love is giving someone what they need the most when they deserve it the least at great personal sacrifice. And, love is sacrifice. And so it's not always easy to do that. Sometimes the opposite of love is selfishness, right? That's the opposite of love, to be selfish. Love is other-centered, and we're to be centered on the needs of others and the situation of others. So,
Yeah, there's a verse that I used to sing it to the boys when they were Titus's age. It was like, look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. And now I can't think of the verse reference. But that was just a good little sing-song verse to remind, even adults have to be reminded, just like kids, to don't look out for just what we want or what we need, but look out for the needs of others.
mm-hmm.
And it's a, excuse me, good verse to memorize.
And one mentality that we as a church must have with loving others is a whatever it takes mentality. Every church needs a whatever it takes mentality.
Some people call that be a second mile Christian.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you're talking about?
And so a way it can be applied is, we don't ever compromise the truth. We never compromise the truth.
Amen.
But we do change our methods. And so we have to be willing to do whatever it takes to reach one more lost person for Jesus, as long as the method does not compromise the message. It's not, the ends don't justify the means, right? The end matters and the means matter. But a whatever it takes mentality is, hey, we are willing to do whatever it takes to reach more people for Jesus. Right now our church is doing whatever it takes to build a sanctuary and educational space. Right now our church is doing whatever it takes with soccer season coming up. Like whatever it takes. Yes, soccer season can be exhausting. It can, you and the boys coached some teams last year. It takes time, but it's whatever it takes. Changing where you sit in the sanctuary to give somebody a seat. That's a whatever it takes mentality.
Yep.
So, we forgot to do that again, didn't we?
The podcast.
Oh well. Yeah, so we're almost done. We'll have to do it next time. Nate, we're trying to do a podcast while we do this, and we started a podcast called TyTy Takeaways, but we always forget to air it when we get over here.
Yeah, I was about to try to see if we can.
I've already. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the golden rule? Did you already share the golden rule?
So the golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Mm-hmm. And so, think about it. If you want other people to be nice to you, then you've got to be nice to others. If you want other people to be merciful to you, you must be merciful to others. If you want other people to share with you, then you must be willing to share with others. So the golden rule is treat other people like you want them to treat you. Now, the devil's rule is, the dark rule is treat others how they treat you. That is not what we're called to do. We're to do unto others as we would have others do unto us. And if we'll treat people with that golden rule in the center of all that we do, then we are going to have honorable conduct. Our witness is going to be honorable conduct. And that's just important. So, the golden rule is so simple, but how often do you hear people talk about it, right? Not very often.
Because, sometimes it is hard to do. The flip side of the golden rule is the verse about don't judge lest you be judged. Because the golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do to you. That's like the positive side. And then the other flip side verse is like, you got to be careful when you judge other people because you're going to get judged with the same measure back. So it's kind of telling us both ways. Hey, look, if I'm going to judge somebody for whatever it is, then, and it may be 5 years later that I find myself doing the same thing or something worse that someone else is going to judge me for, and so it's just a different way to think about it. But yeah, I feel like if we had the golden rule, tattooed into our mind and heart, that every day we could remind ourselves, okay, I need to do to these people how I would want them to do to me. I feel like the whole world would be a nicer place to live.
Well, think about it. So think
I feel
about
like
it.
everybody would be way nicer and way more helpful and way
think
more
about
friendly.
it in small ways. Small ways. Like if I want to be
Always be humble and kind.
Yeah.
Yep.
If I want to be complimented, I need to compliment others. If I want to be respected, I must respect others. That it's interesting that we sometimes expect people to treat us a certain way that we aren't willing to treat people. I've heard people say, people need to respect me. I've heard people say that. But I watch and they don't show respect for others. I've heard people say, I need you to be patient with me, but when you watch their life, they're not patient with others. And so it's very simple. It can be applied to every area of our life,
And like mercy, like that was one thing that I never, I used to never let people know that I was struggling until I had a miscarriage, a few years ago. And that was like the first time I think I had publicly let the world know, let my church family know, that I was struggling, and I was shown, mercy and grace and love and care and compassion, and I was like, wow, all those good things are out there waiting to be given if we are, if you're hurting or whatnot, because there's been times in my life where I did not show mercy to other people, where I was not showing mercy, and then there's been a few times, even in the past year, that somebody has shown me mercy, and it feels so good to be shown mercy. Mm-hmm. And it makes me remember, oh yeah, I need to show mercy because it feels good when somebody else shows me mercy. So number 3 was our works. Mm-hmm. So you talked about be the light through our walk, through our witness, and then through our works. Our work for God matters. It got convicting when you were like, coming to church is not a work, that's just obedience. Yeah. It was like, oh, wow, you don't hear preachers say that because that's like hardcore. But you said you can't show your faith without works. I mean, that's a Bible verse. Yeah. It's not enough just to come to church, because if we are believers, then our faith will have works. Yeah. And like I mentioned this too, like tithing is not a good work. Tithing is obedience. That's just obedience. Like that's expected. Like going to church is expected. Like it's a Bible command to go to church. I don't know if you knew that. Hebrews 10:25 is one instance. Tithing is a biblical command. Forgiving others is a command. These aren't works. And there's a difference between fruit and works. We talked about that too, that the fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, gentleness, self-control, that's the fruit of the Spirit. But good works is actually the things that we do sacrificially to help others. Building schools, building hospitals, picking up trash, giving up a week's vacation to go on a mission trip, coaching a soccer team, hint, hint, coaching a t-ball team. These are work. This is a work that we do. Right now, people over here painting Sunday school rooms. That is a work. That's not obedience. Like they could stay home and not paint and not be disobedient, but they're showing their faith. So let's take this. Let's take this illustration. Everybody that's painting a room and getting rooms ready for K through 6th grade. So right now, 1st through 6th grade, we have 3 students in Sunday school. Lisa has 3 students. 1st grade? Oh, you're not talking about pre-K?
No, just 1st through 6th.
Oh, okay.
I asked, we have 3 students. All right, now listen, our faith is God is about to build and explode our kids' Sunday school. Now, we have more children than that in our church, but they're not actively coming to Sunday school.
Because a lot of kids go to children's church.
Oh, yeah, we have 25 there. But so here's the thing. Their faith believes that God's going to send children to Sunday school. And they're painting rooms as a good work to show that faith. That's just a simple illustration of what a good work is. You believe something and then you act upon that.
Mm-hmm. And I remember one church that we went to years ago. The lady that they had like 2 piano players, and one of the ladies that played the piano, do you remember Miss Sherry? And I would notice that after the services, she would walk through the pews and pick up all the trash, because people leave their bulletins or trash or snotty tissues or candy paper, no telling. Like, people leave stuff in the chairs or in the pew, and I would just watch as she was like faithful to do that. After every service, she would walk through and pick up trash and sometimes talk to people. So, she was doing a public service playing the piano, but then she was doing this private service to God after people left. And I feel like we need, I don't know if there's a verse for this, but I feel like we need like public and private services for God, to where we're not just serving God to be seen by other people, but we're serving God even in the times where nobody else sees you.
Like if you see it near the church and he's like picking up the trash off the pews after every service.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that helps out later in the future by a long margin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Matthew 5 says, "Let your light shine before men."
That's the public part.
Yeah, these works are to be done publicly, so they'll see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. And so we don't do these works so we're seen by men. We do these works so the world can see God. And so it's very vital that we do good works publicly for people to see.
And that makes the witness part,
Yep.
because people will see, like, if people look at your life, are they going to say, oh, they must be a Christian because they're always working at the church and they're always serving God and they're going on mission trips? Or are people going to see your life and not see any work for God? Like, it's sobering to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to think about, because that's how we witness to others, like you said.
I
What we
will
do.
go back to the picking up the trash off the pews. It actually helps the church when people that aren't Christians come in, see that the church is clean and welcoming.
Yeah, that's true. It's even a witness. Yeah, it's a witness to others how clean we keep our church and our space. That's a good point, Nate. Our work, you said our work for God matters, and not every saved person is working for God. So think about that. Assess your life and look at your life and see, okay, am I working for God? And if not, think about, like your dad told you when you first got saved, just to pick up trash, to carry trash bags in your truck and pick up trash around the college campus. You can start out small, but let your light shine before men so they may see your good works and glorify God. Are you doing work so that people can actually see that you're a light for Christ, that you're a witness? You said Satan's goal is to keep you lost. So go back and watch that sermon if you didn't. But we're hearing a lot of feedback about the Sunday night message. So if you did not watch the Sunday night sermon for July 28th, go back and watch John's message from July 28th on a Sunday night. It was Exodus 2, don't doubt him now.
Exodus 32.
Exodus 32. When people of God get desensitized to the workings of God, you said we lose our minds. You talked about people being under a delusion. And if you're sensitive to what's going on in the culture, today, go back and watch that sermon. A lot of people have shared it. Jerry said the message that was brought to us was in line with what is happening now from our government. Now is the time to walk closer to Jesus Christ. You're right. Now's the time to be for real, like all in with God. And you talked about how why hasn't Jesus came back? He's not willing that any should perish. Don't forget He's coming back. My notes are probably not in the right order, but you talked about delay, disobedience, and delusion. Do you want to share on that?
Well, you know, Moses delivered the people out of Egypt, delivered them from Pharaoh, brought them to the Red Sea, which pictures their resurrection with Christ. You know, pictures them set free. And then he goes up onto a mountain for 40 days, and he says, "Hey, I'm leaving Aaron and Hur here." Well, Moses was gone 40 days, and the people said, "Hey, we don't know what's happened. Maybe he's not coming back." And so people said that about Jesus, his second coming right now. Where is he? He hasn't come back yet. So there was a delay, and then the people were disobedient. They said, "Hey, let's make us our own God, and let's give this God credit for delivering us from bondage." And they, you know, made a golden calf out of all their earrings and things like that. And the result of that is they became delusional. Like, the people became absolutely delusional. Like, one breath they would say, "Moses delivered us." The next breath they'd say, "The golden calf delivered them." One breath they would say, you know, "Praise the golden calf." The next breath, "Tomorrow is a feast to Yahweh." I mean, they were...
How confusing is that?
They were so confusing. They were so delusional. And then Aaron, who represents, well, I believe, a pastor, Aaron listened to the itching ears of the people. We want a God. And Aaron gave the people what they wanted instead of standing by Moses' command. And so Aaron gave them what they wanted. And then when Moses tried to hold Aaron accountable, Aaron said, "Hey, look, I just threw the gold in the fire and this calf just came out." You know, everybody's delusional and, you know, dishonest, and, you know, that's happening in our world right now. It's everywhere in our world what's happening. You know, it's I don't know, it's just bizarre. If a person can't see the delusional thinking of this current world, they're delusional. I mean, it's unbelievable. I can't
Miss
believe it.
Margaret said that calf, it just came up out of the fire.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds so silly and so crazy. You said, are we worshiping God but working for the devil? You said it's decision time. Moses saw that the people were unrestrained. And aren't people just, the world is just out of control? Out of control. I mean, there's supposed to be a separation, you know, between Christians and the world. There should be a separation. We should be different. So you said, make up your mind. God will judge the world. Don't get sucked in.
Yeah.
Abstain from fleshly lusts that war against your soul. Don't get sucked in. Pray to God that He would help you not to be deceived.
Don't listen to the culture.
And don't live like them.
Don't listen to the culture. Don't buy what the culture is selling. Don't download what the culture is offering. Don't embrace what the culture is embracing. This system is a satanic system, and it will damn your soul to hell. It will. Listen very carefully. If you're not saved, this culture will damn you. Like, it does not care about your eternal soul at all. And Satan's goal is to keep this world in a darkness and delusion. We can't have it both ways. So, and that's
so
what.
Stay in the Word.
Yes. Oh yeah. Look, with that, if you're not in the Bible, you're going to be sucked in. I've been preaching on the Bible. I've been preaching for weeks on stay in the Bible, stay in the Bible. And I know somebody's probably like, "My goodness, he's always preaching stay in the Bible." Look, if you don't stay in the Bible, you will be sucked in.
Carrie said, I keep praying for God to give me a mind of discernment to help me love what He loves and hate what He hates.
Good.
That's a good prayer
Yep, that's good.
to pray. That's really good.
All right.
Lord, help us not be deceived and open the eyes of the blind and,
Yep, absolutely.
heal our land.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, y'all comment. If you missed the beginning of this, go back and watch the beginning because Titus was my co-anchor.
Yeah.
And comment if you eat deer meat and what's your favorite recipe for cube steak or deer meat. So what I did was I just put a can of cream of chicken soup in the crock pot with the deer cube steak for 4 hours on high, and it was tender. It didn't even take 4 hours, but it was tender. John liked it. I
was
liked
good.
it, and
It was cream of
Titus
chicken?
liked it. It was.
Wow.
That's all it was.
I was thinking like-
how easy is that?
I was thinking like cream of celery or cream of mushroom would have been fitting, but cream of chicken with deer meat. Okay.
It's what
Hey,
I had at the time.
Hey, I ate some today for lunch and it tasted good to me.
Titus ate it too.
All right. Well, listen, thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all
Thanks for
on
watching.
Wednesday night. God bless.
Bye.